I used to believe that trust was the strongest foundation in any bond, stronger than love, stronger than blood. And maybe I was foolish to think so. You were my closest friend. You knew my secrets, my fears, my childhood dreams. I called you my sister in all but name. We laughed together, cried together, shared heartbreaks, and healed together. I never thought you would be the one to teach me what betrayal truly feels like. Everything started so simply. Just the three of us, me, you, and him. My partner. The one I fell in love with slowly, deeply. I introduced you both, confident that your warmth would make him feel welcome, that he would love the things in you that I did. Your humor, your kindness, your loyalty. And he did. At first, I was glad. I saw you laughing at our jokes, joining our movie nights, even helping me plan little surprises for him. I thought we were building a life where everyone belonged. I didn't know that while I was building, you were taking bricks from my walls. He started changing, and I blamed work. I blamed stress. I blamed anything but you. He grew quieter, distant. His eyes stopped lingering on mine. His arms held me differently, less tight, less present. I'd find you two whispering, and you'd look up with that same innocent smile. Just planning something fun, you'd say. I believed you. I wanted to believe you. Because what else could I do? You were my friend. He was my love. Still, something sat uneasily in my stomach. Little signs. Missed messages. Late replies. Excuses that felt rehearsed. He would leave the room when I entered, clutching his phone too tightly. And you, always quick to defend him, to change the subject. You became the wall between us, even while pretending to be the bridge. I remember the moment I truly began to doubt. I had sent him a text, something simple, something sweet. It remained unread for hours. But your phone lit up constantly. You smiled at your screen and turned it away. That was when the first crack split across the surface of our perfect picture. I watched, silently, as my own instincts begged me to see what I didn't want to believe. I replayed our conversations, your lingering touches on his arm, the shared glances when you thought I wasn't looking. You weren't just in the background of my life. You were weaving yourself into places that didn't belong to you. And yet I said nothing. Not yet. Because some betrayals are so deep, the words don't come easily. I needed to be sure. I needed the truth to show itself, without me forcing it out. But inside, I had already begun to grieve. Not just for the love I was losing, but for the friendship that was slipping away without ceremony. You, my closest friend. How do I begin to prepare for war against someone I once would have chosen as family? It was a Tuesday when everything unraveled. I remember because nothing about the day felt unusual until it did. He left for work early as always. You texted me casually, asking if I wanted to hang out that weekend. Polite. Distant. As if nothing were wrong. But there was a weight in my chest I couldn't explain, and I stopped trying to. That evening, I borrowed his tablet. He often used it for work, and I needed it to check a document. I didn't intend to go through his messages. I wasn't looking for proof. I was holding on to the last thread of denial. But it only took one notification. A message preview. Your name. A heart emoji. His response. Last night was perfect. I can't stop thinking about you. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, breathing through silence that felt heavier than any noise. I opened the chat. The thread ran deep. Nights you told me you were homesick, mornings he said he had early meetings. Words that used to be mine were now shared between you two. Jokes, memories, nicknames. You had taken pieces of me and handed them to him like borrowed time. You spoke about me like I was a burden. She's too emotional, you wrote. She'll never understand us. And he agreed. The man who once held my shaking hands now dismissed me like a phase. My heart didn't break all at once. It cracked slowly, line by line, each word slicing deeper. How long had you loved him behind my back? How long had you been erasing me while smiling to my face? I closed the messages, walked to the mirror, and looked at myself. I didn't recognize the reflection. There was no rage, no sobbing, just silence. The kind that comes when the truth is so loud, there's nothing left to say. I wanted to confront you both right then, to throw your lies in your faces. But something inside me said wait. I needed to know more, not because I didn't believe it, but because I needed to see how far you had gone. Over the next few days, I watched everything closely. His sudden compliments, your check-ins. He brought me flowers. You brought me my favorite dessert. Guilt masked as affection. Your kindness felt poisonous now. And I smiled back, playing along, memorizing your every word. I became a stranger in my own life, studying the people I loved like suspects. You once told me you'd never hurt me, that no man was worth losing what we had. I wonder when those words stopped meaning anything to you. Was it the first time he touched your hand? The first lie you told me? Or the last time you looked me in the eye, knowing exactly what you were hiding? I had all the proof I needed, but I wasn't going to confront you in anger. I wasn't going to give you the satisfaction of seeing me broken. You made your choices. Now it was my turn to decide what I would do with the truth. You sat across from me like nothing had changed, smiling, laughing, pretending. But I had stopped pretending. I looked at you, really looked, and wondered how I had missed it. The way your eyes shifted when I mentioned him. The quick deflections. The forced concern. I let it all sit between us, like smoke in the air, waiting to suffocate one of us. And it wasn't going to be me. I asked you plainly, is there something you want to tell me? Your smile faltered for half a second. Just enough. You said no, nothing at all. You leaned back, relaxed, as if lying had become second nature. It probably had. I stared at you, not with anger, but with the quiet disgust that only betrayal can birth. I asked again. Still, you denied. Until I spoke the words that broke whatever game you were playing. I read everything. Your messages. Your nights. Your plans. Silence. Then the shift. Panic behind your eyes. Your mouth opened, but there were no words. Only guilt. You tried to reach for me, and I moved away. You called it the mistake. Said you didn't mean for it to happen. That it just started and got out of control. You called it a weakness. A moment. A lapse in judgment. I called it what it was, a choice. Repeated, intentional, cruel. Then he walked in. He saw my face and knew. His shoulders sank. The same excuses came. We didn't want to hurt you. It meant nothing. We were going to stop. Lies on top of lies, layered so thick they couldn't even remember which version they had told me last. He tried to touch my hand. I pulled back. I wasn't his to comfort anymore. You both looked at me like I was supposed to break. To fall apart. Maybe even forgive you. But I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I spoke slowly. Clearly. You both made decisions that had nothing to do with weakness and everything to do with selfishness. You tried to interrupt. I didn't let you. You betrayed me and acted like I wouldn't notice. As if my love, my loyalty, my presence meant so little that you could destroy it and smile in my face the next day. I wasn't angry. I was finished. There's a difference. Anger begs for explanation. I didn't need one. What I needed was peace, and you had stolen it long enough. You started to cry. He stood silent, ashamed. I let it all fall around you. The lies, the excuses, the fake guilt. You expected me to fight for you. But I don't fight for people who treat me like a convenience. When I stood up to leave, I didn't say goodbye. You called my name. I didn't turn back. Some things don't deserve a response. Some betrayals are so loud. Silence is the only answer they should ever get. The days that followed felt like walking through ruins. Not just of a relationship, but of a reality I believed in. I didn't rush to fill the silence you both left behind. I let it echo. I let it teach me. I wasn't interested in revenge or explanations. I wanted clarity, and that came with distance. Not the kind marked by miles, but by boundaries, silent, firm, final. You tried to reach out. Messages. Calls. Apologies that sounded like performances. I miss you, you wrote. You'll always be my best friend. But best friends don't bury knives in your back and cry when you bleed. I never replied. Not once. You made your choices without me, and I made mine the moment I walked away. He wasn't different. He texted long paragraphs. He asked for one more conversation. Said he was confused. Lost. He used words like temptation and regret, as if that made him innocent. He wanted closure. I realized then that some people don't want forgiveness. They want to feel better about what they did. I wasn't going to give him that luxury. Instead, I gave myself time. Not to forget, but to rebuild. I changed my routines, moved furniture, cut my hair. Not because I needed a new beginning, but because I was done carrying memories in every corner of my space. I found joy in small things again. Mornings without checking my phone for lies. Evenings without second-guessing every laugh you gave him. I stopped asking why. I stopped looking for reasons where there was only disrespect. I learned something important. Healing doesn't always look like strength. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to respond, not to explain, not to carry pain that wasn't mine to hold. I didn't lose two people. I lost two illusions. That hurts less than it sounds. You might tell yourself that what you did wasn't that bad, that feelings are messy, that love is complicated. You might even believe you were justified. I'm not here to argue. I'm just no longer available for your justifications. I gave you my trust freely. You turned it into leverage. Now I live differently. Quieter, wiser, and unapologetically guarded. I don't need to prove I've moved on. The absence of my presence in your life is proof enough. You don't get access to my peace, my progress, my new story. You're part of a chapter that ended without a final word, because not every betrayal deserves closure. I know you wonder what I'd say now if we stood face to face. If I'd cry. If I'd forgive. If I'd curse you out. But I wouldn't do any of those things. I'd simply look at you the way you looked at me before you chose deceit, coldly, quietly, without a trace of guilt. You tormented me in silence, behind smiles and promises. So, what should I say now? Nothing. You've already heard my silence, and I hope it's louder than anything I ever spoke.